Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So today we want to learn in chapter 8, which is the reading raw data files. So in this chapter we have 4 subtopics, which are 8.1 Introduction to Reading Raw Data Files, 8.2 Reading Standard Delimited Data, 8.3 Using Informatics to Read Delimited Data, and 8.4 Reading Missing Data. For 8.1, the objectives are: firstly, identify the types of raw data files and input styles. Secondly, define the terms standard and non-standard data. So in this chapter, when we are referring to the business scenario, information about Orion Star sales employees from Australia and the United States is stored in a raw data file. So meaning that this is raw data file. So in SAS programming, before we run the dataset, we have to know what is the raw data file. The programmers need to be able to identify layouts and the types of information in the raw data file. Okay, so this is the definition of raw data files. It also known as a flat file. Firstly, they are text files that contain one record per line. Then, secondly, a record typically contains multiple fields. Thirdly, flat files do not have internal metadata. Then, external documentation known as a record layout should exist. And then lastly, a record layout describes the fields and locations within each record. Then, if you refer to the fields in raw data file, can be delimited or arranged in fixed column. If you see here, this is the delimited file. From one variable to the another variable, it's separated by comma. This is an example for comma separated value. Okay, so first of all, you have to know this is the delimited file. Then when we compare to the fixed column file, this is fixed column file because of we know the every single field. For example, for first observation and first variable, 120102, this is contain 1 2 3 4 5 6 field, and followed by the second variable, for example Tom 1 2 3, but this is only for the first observation. But when we compare for the first variable, it also have more than 3, so meaning that we have to make it as a fixed column. Okay, so for the second variable, as we know, it up to 15 field. Okay, then followed by the third variable, the fourth, and so on and so forth. Okay, so meaning that for the fixed column, we have to know for the first variable from 1 up to 6. This is an example. Okay, for the second variable, 7 up to 15 or 16. Okay, and so on and so forth. All right. Then fill in raw data file. In order for SAS to read a raw data file, you must specify the following information about each field. That means the location of the data value in the record. Secondly, the name of the SAS variable in which to store the data. Then the type of the SAS variable. So those three, this is important to run and read the data for this field. Then reading raw data file, there are different techniques that you have to know, or input style. For reading raw data files in SAS, firstly we identify column input, formatted input, and list input. Okay, so the detail is input style. For column input, it has to know the standard data in the fixed column. Then formatted input, standard and non-standard data in fixed columns. Lastly, list input. You have to know the standard and non-standard data separated by blank or some other delimited. Okay, so if you look here, this is the comparison for the standard and non-standard data. For standard data is data that SAS can read without any additional instruction. For example, character data is always standard, but some numeric values are standard and some are not. If you look here, standard numeric data, this is the value 58, 67.23, negative 23, and so on and so forth. But for non-standard numeric data, the value is in bracket. Then it also has the dollar sign. Then also have the comma, and also in the date format. Okay, if you look here, this is the 01/12/2010 or 12 May 2009. Okay, when you see the multiple answer pool, what type of raw data files do you read? Firstly, delimited. B, fixed column. C, both delimited and fixed column. D, I do not read raw data file. So this is up to you lah. Okay.